In this video, I will explain the Google patent search. I already made a more general video about patent search, and I have a link in the show notes below this video to this more general video. So in this video, I will focus on the particular advantages and features of the Google patent search. So what will I show you in this video? What is the country coverage of the Google patent search? How to include similar keywords? How to exclude keywords, how to use the advanced search feature, how to limit the search by time, how to apply other limitations such as the applicant names or IPC classes, how to do the automatic prior art search and how to rank results, how to find the patent family of a result, how to link directly to a patent or a patent application, how to link directly to the PDF of a patent or patent application, how does Google use the information that they get during our search and about privacy, and last but not least, how to download pair data. So let's jump into all of this. Google recently changed the search interface, so I give you an in-depth guide of how to use Google Patents search. So first of all, I talk about the country coverage. You can see that here, if you click on countries, you see that they cover Japan, China, the US, Europe, so the European Patent Office, the WIPO, so PCT applications, then Germany and Canada. The next thing I wanted to explain is how to search for similar keywords. So let's say you search for polypropylene, then you get these results, and if you want to include synonyms, you can click on synonyms, and then for example you can include the IPC class that covers polypropylene, or you can include another class that would be, for example, the C class, not the B class, the applications, but the C, the chemical class for polypropylene. So that's how you can include similar concepts to your original keyword. And if you search for that, you see that the number of search results increased dramatically. Then you can also exclude keywords. So let's say you exclude polypropylene as the word and you only want to see the remaining synonyms, which is not useful in typical cases, but just to demonstrate that you can exclude certain keywords, you could exclude them with a minus in front, so minus polypropylene, and then search, and then you only have 27,000 hits left. So only 1% of all results are left. And you see that even different spellings, like with an accent in France, would show up in these results. So the next thing is how you can include more advanced features. You can just click on more, and there you can search for patents that are not only before a certain date, let's say priority, filing or publication, but after a certain date by the filing priority or application date, publication date, I mean. And you can also search for inventors, the certain patent office, languages, the filing status, let's say granted or application. And you can also search for citing patents or other classes from the CPC classification. So that's already explained how you can limit the search by time. So by publication date, application date, or priority date. So how you apply limitations like IPC classes or applicants, I already explained that. Basically, you can enter an assignee, for example, BASF. Assignee or applicant is sometimes the same. In the US, actually, the applicants, the original applicants are the inventors, different to many other countries. So the applicant would not be the company, but the inventors in the US. but in all countries it's usually the employee, so the company that would be in the applicant field. But assignee is clear that the company is meant. So how do you use the automatic prior art search? That's a really interesting feature in Google Patents. If you click on any result, you find out that, in this particular example, you don't see an automatic prior art search, but let's say in this example, you see that there is something from BASF, a sheet-like composite from a polyolefin, and somewhere in the text there's also polypropylene mentioned. Otherwise it would not show up in the search. And then you can click on the Find Prior Art button, and then you find by some automatic algorithm that I don't know, and nobody really knows that, but it's probably similar to the Google algorithm, patents that are prior art. So they are published before the priority date, which is automatically entered here, of the patent. So that is very useful to get a first idea of prior art. Some of these examples, in my personal opinion, are very useful and some are not, but it's always interesting to see these results. You can rank them by different criteria. So you can rank them by relevance, newest or oldest, and you can group them by classification if you wanted to. How do you find a patent family of a certain result? Let's say you go to this result. You would scroll all the way down, and then you can see also published as, and sometimes there's a long list, sometimes there's a shorter list, and these patents or patent applications are the family members of that particular patent, so the corresponding patents in the different countries. How do you link to a certain patent? You can link to a certain patent just by looking at the URL on top. So you would just copy and paste these this portion of the URL, not the whole URL with all the parameters, but only the first portion of the URL, and that would give you the chance to link to a certain publication. If we do that, we will land directly at this particular patent application. So how can you link to a certain PDF? You can hover over the download PDF button and then make a right click and then say basically copy link address, and then you can paste this into any other browser window or your email or wherever you want to communicate the PDF. And then if you hit enter, then you see that the PDF has downloaded, and you can open that and see the PDF of that particular patent application. Now some very interesting, before we jump into the privacy issues, maybe I can show you that you not only see the family results, but you can also see similar results that come from the automatic prior art finder. And very interestingly, you can see not only the patents that are cited within the document or by the examiners, but also the patents or patent applications that are citing this particular patent application. So forward citations, basically, you would call them. So let's go into the privacy issues. On the very bottom, you see an about link, not the privacy policy. It's a little bit confusing because that's the general Google privacy policy, but you go to about, and then you see a topic, how does Google use information provided through patent search queries? and they say that they share this information to Google employees, contractors, and agents who need to know that information, as described in the privacy policy about information security, so the general Google privacy policy. And then they explain that they will not use the searches for fine-tuning their own patent strategy, and they would, as an example, not necessarily only, use that information if, for example, they detect abuse or something. But that's not limited to abuse, though, so that it's possible that employees and contractors and agents can see what you are searching for. So be aware of that. Then lastly, Google also gives you the ability to download pair data. Pair data is basically the online file inspection in the US. And you go to this link. I will supply that in the show notes of this video. You go to google.com, then /Google Books /uspto patents pair.html. And this is how you access pair data using Google, which is much more convenient as compared to the uspto, where you have to enter captchas and all these kinds of things. You just have to basically enter this type of URL and replace appnum with the application number. And here's already an example. If you click on that, so if you click on this URL, then you get a zip file with the whole online file inspection from the uspto, which is very helpful. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. Post your questions and comments below this video and share this video with your friends and colleagues. I know it can feel expensive to enlist the help of a patent attorney, but in my experience, every penny is worth it. Make the best of your intellectual property and go make it count.